What's up, everyone? Welcome back, and today I'm going to be introducing a northern spring salamander into this 20-gallon long tank. Took me only about 3 hours to put this together. This is used to house another northern spring salamander that I had for about 6 years, but unfortunately that animal got sick. I think it was some kind of organ failure because it had edema, and then got a secondary bacterial infection, and so basically multifactorial. And fought that with a broad spectrum antibiotics, but unfortunately the animal did not make it. At some point I probably will do some kind of abbreviated basic amphibian husbandry / medicine video, because I just don't think there's a lot of information out there, and given that I'm not a vet, I'm just a little hesitant, but I want to think of a way to get some good info out at some point. Anyhow, this enclosure is very, very functional. It provides a lot of micro habitats, some dry areas for the animal to get out of the water if it needs to, and osmoregulate. So the main components of this are flat stacked rocks, fluvial stratum, which is like aqua soil, temperate mosses, snakeskin, liverwort, a bunch of oak leaf litter, and a few pieces of driftwood, and I don't know if I mentioned, but Boston ferns. As you can see here, this is the 10-gallon vertical with the spring salamander. It's just not big enough for this animal anymore. Like I said, I was going to house this with the other one. It looks like crap right now only because I took everything out. There was a lot of plants and other things in here, a bunch of rocks and hiding spots. It's actually a pretty good enclosure for a smaller spring salamander. This one's been in here for years. I'm always hesitant to shake things up like this because, especially if they're doing well, if it's not broke, why fix it? But I think it just needs more space, and it's the right thing to do. And just have to do it carefully. All the water parameters seem good. The water is a little more acidic in the new tank, so transferred a lot of the water that was in here into the new one. And so I think that is raised the pH a little bit. I'm not sure if it's the kind of rocks that are in there or why the pH is a little bit lower, but it's not a huge deal. I also used a lot of the filter media from this about a month ago and put it into the new canister filter that I have running to get the nitrifying bacteria, the beneficial bacteria. And like I said, the water parameters look pretty good, so I feel pretty confident to move this animal into it. Got that interesting black spot there. It's been there since it was small. I don't know what that is, but the animal seems healthy and happy. So anyhow, these guys get pretty big. These are really some of the coolest plethodons, stream salamanders there are. And here's just a shot of the turtle filter I was using. Again, good for something small like this, more of like a pump, that has filtration properties, obviously, but not nearly as strong as the Fluval 207 that I'm using in the new tank, which you can see right here. This is a lot more powerful, keeps the water a lot better aerated just because of the amount that it's pumping out, and keeps it clear, which is important. And so here are a bunch of the roots from the Boston ferns that have rooted down. I put some filter mat and some dried sphagnum moss, dried, but not dried, but sphagnum moss, dead sphagnum moss down there to act as a medium. But anyhow, this was, actually looks pretty good, if I don't say so myself. It is a pretty good tank in that I can find the animal if I need to. There's a few spots that are going to be hard to find the animal, but I do want to be able to observe it, particularly if it's getting sick or something, because the quicker you can see a sign of sickness, the better. Speed is crucial in those cases, but again, offering it more microhabitats, not keeping it as damp as the other enclosure, which I had part of the lid plasticed off, so I have a higher humidity. I'm not doing that here. I want the animal, like I said, to be able to get dry if it needs to, if it does get some kind of weird bacterial infection, and it needs to disrupt that through drying its skin out or something. So offering that in here versus the old one. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. This leaf litter and all this stuff has been in here for quite a while now. And so there's also some springtails, no isopods or anything like that, because I just think that I don't think they would make it in here. I think it's just too damp. I might add some kind of cleanup crew at some point outside of the springtails, but just tempered springtails. As of now, as you can see, the water is very clear. Again, just using Fluval stratum and rocks, nothing else, no sand. I don't want to try to stay away from any possibility of cyanobacteria, and then just have some parts of the moss touching the water so there's a wicking effect so it keeps it all moist. But again, you can see here there's going to be some areas where the animal can come out and get dry if it needs to. So I feel a lot more confident. As you can see, some of the liverworts are starting to take off. And this little waterfall that I built with just these rocks is creating some nice aeration and water movement, which will, I think, help reduce or mitigate the possibility of dead spots in the water, which then could be bad overall for the ecosystem here. Now I'm just going to introduce the animal into the new enclosure, and I will mention, and this is a spoiler alert, it is going to of course go to one of the spots that I said previously that it would be hard to reach, but it is a hiding spot that I built out for the animal. But it's all good because the animal is probably a little stressed out moving it and everything, and so it just needs to chill, and as you can see it will. It's going to head down into this little crevice here between the glass and the rock, underneath the rock, and we'll just see when it comes out next. But I appreciate you all tuning in and taking the time to watch this, and stay tuned for some more content headed your way.